Welcome back to Raw the podcast. I'm your host, Allie, founder of The Cheeky Clean, a wellness brand empowering conscious consuming. And I am joined with our guest in studio today, Abraham Nabors.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. Abraham is with Mustard Seed Markets. And actually, you're the first boy on the podcast, the first gentleman guest. So
I
we're
feel
making
honored.
history today with the Cheekies. Love that for us, which is good because I do have some cheeky kings, as I call them, out on these streets. And a lot of my community has just tended to be women, but it's just as important for the men in our lives to be empowering themselves as consumers too.
Well, women are usually smarter and make better life
Love
choices.
that.
So,
You're already starting off great. Yeah, but we would agree. But no, thank you for coming on. I actually talked about mustard seed a bit in the past, both, on and off the podcast, but I'm a huge fan and have been long before I really knew you guys or your family and before I moved back to Cleveland. I remember actually I used to call on customers in the chemical industry throughout the Ohio area, and I had couple of random customers in Akron and stumbled in one day to your Montrose location and had lunch there. And I was like, a juice offered in Ohio? Like, this is crazy. Fresh juice. And so I've been a fan ever since. But yeah, having then moved back and getting to know your family and the purpose behind the the store and the products that you guys offer is really impactful, inspiring, and I think cool for the community up here to know more about. But you specifically are a wealth of knowledge. And every time I've gotten to chat with you, even before we started the podcast, I'm like, we got to start recording because you have so much good information in that brain that we need to share. So first off, thank you for all the work you guys do for the community and just giving back.
well, I thank you very much for all the kind words. It's an honor to be here. I always give tribute to my parents, Margaret and Philip Nabors, for starting Mustard Seed 44 years ago, and specifically my mom, because it's her brainchild, and she really felt called
That's so
to want
cool.
to take a leap of faith and open up a health food store in 1981 in all places of the world of Akron, Ohio.
That is so incredible.
She
What got her to that point to want to start it?
she was pregnant for the first time with my older sister, and she had, I call it the organic apple that fell on her head. She said, what I do to myself is one set of rules, what I do to my unborn child is a different set of rules. And so it really forced her to examine all of her food and her lifestyle. And so when she went into her pantry and refrigerator in her kitchen, she started reading ingredients for the first time. And if you started doing that for the first time, it's a bracing experience for most people. I know you have a chemistry background, most people don't. And so being able to, like, what in the world is this ingredient? Is it harmful for me? Is it not? So she did what everybody in the 70s did to go get information. She went to a library and she pulled out books. And if she did not know what an ingredient was, she had to do the research. Much to her dismay and shock, a lot of the ingredients in her food were petroleum based, created by scientists in laboratories. And she had a very, very simple common sense aha. I should only put natural ingredients into my natural body in order to be healthy. Luckily, she had a very successful and healthy pregnancy. My sister is still healthy today. My brother and I, luckily, same result. And so she really wanted the opportunity for all mothers to be able to have that same experience. And she had to go to a bunch of different grocery stores back in the day just to buy natural food for a week. And so necessity is the mother of all invention. If it's not there, go start it. So they were part of the original sort of pioneers to really help proliferate the idea of what a health food store could be.
That's so cool. And honestly, still so relevant now. I always say it's a blessing to be able to read the foreign language of ingredients because it really is a foreign language. And I think it's so overwhelming for most consumers. And a big part of why I share what I do is to help it become easier to make those choices for yourself and your family. But my friends that have all started to have children now, we're in our 30s, and that's kind of the trigger point when you really take a look at, wow, what am I putting in my body? And more importantly, what am I putting in my child's body? It's crazy how allergies and autoimmune issues have grown so heavily in the younger generations, and it continues to be a problem. So your mom was ahead of her time, to say the least, especially in Akron, Ohio, where even to this day, it's still something that I think is a feat that people are still trying to learn and understand and maybe come to terms with.
Yeah, I give credit where credit's due. I'm incredibly thankful for her and my dad, who challenged her to say, like, well, what does a health food store mean? And she was like, well, I want to sell the healthy food and not all the bad crap. And he's like, okay, well, what bad crap?
Yeah,
So
totally.
he made her write down the list that are still to this day, 44 years later, are golden ingredient standards. So it's no artificial flavors, no artificial colors, no high fructose corn syrup, no saccharin or aspartame, the artificial sweeteners, no irradiated food, no hormones or antibiotics in the meat, cruelty-free cosmetics, no potassium bromate or bleached flours, no irradiated food. So the list goes on and on beyond that. But those are our golden standards that are the big line in the sand for ingredients that are, no matter how much money they can make us, it is a hard no. We're not willing to sell artificial food because that is not what a natural health food store is.
So cool. And 44 years later, it's never been a situation where you guys have went backwards on those golden standards. It's almost grown even more so, despite probably having immense pressure, especially from a competitive and profitability standpoint, to uphold those, I would imagine.
Yeah, as the food science has gotten even crazier
Right.
over these 44 years, we've gotten more restrictive.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my primary roles is I manage our buyer's ingredient guide. So it's like 17 pages of an Excel spreadsheet of just ingredients that is either yes, no, or restricted in some regards. It is a pretty intense responsibility, and it takes a lot of time to be able to curate that.
Absolutely. But what a blessing for the community to be able to come into Mustard Seed. And similarly to when you shop at the farmer's market, which I've shared with the community before, is it's like a weight off of you when you can go through the aisles and make choices without having to decipher every ingredient, Google every ingredient, really try to figure out what's inside of it. You can trust that the standard is already higher and it's more probable that you're getting a better quality food.
It's honestly a relief to shop at a place where you know everything is pre-curated.
Totally.
But whenever I deviate out in the wild to like go to a grocery store that's conventional, I see little skull and crossbones floating over top of most of the products that I know that are bad.
I know.
But then I have
Yeah.
to, if anything that I am not familiar with, I have to literally read every ingredient to every product. It takes a long time. It's not fun. It's tedious. So anytime, like if I'm traveling out in the wild and I don't have my privileged little mustard seed experience in my backyard, I'll usually go to the local health food store when I travel, just because I know that's my safe little oasis that I can just sort of enjoy the shopping experience and see what's new.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's definitely worth coming down to Mustard Seed. And even if you're up in Cleveland and you got to make a journey and do all your shopping there because it is such a different standard, I find it really challenging. I mean, even still with the commercial options available in the Cleveland area, I do have to go to multiple places most often. And just because it's a more expensive grocery store doesn't necessarily mean that it has those same standards. So just knowing that you guys have that mission and that's what it's about is so badass.
Yeah, I mean, I give credit where credit is due for our competition. There's a lot of places that people think are natural health food stores but don't have standards, like Trader Joe's, less like Fresh Time Market. You know, Earth Fare does have ingredient standards. Whole Foods does have ingredient standards, and I salute them.
Yeah.
And I appreciate healthy competition among those I respect a lot more than people who kind of playing fast and loose with ingredients.
Yeah, for sure. But it's challenging. And I think one maybe way that you guys have been able to continue to sustain this model in such a tough economy and place like Cleveland, Akron, where maybe the majority of the population isn't necessarily aware yet, is the education that you do for the community. And that's been, since moving back and since getting the Cheeky brand going, something that's really inspired me is how much content you guys are putting out into the world. You yourself, I think, are maybe responsible for some of, I mean, you were mentioning all the lectures that you've done in the past. You guys are really walking the walk with trying to educate the community, which I think comes first, because what people aren't aware of and what they don't understand, it's hard to invest in. And when you start to gain that knowledge and realize that as consumers, we really have the power over our health by the choices that we're making, it's really cool to know that we're not being jerked around by these systems, that we can make these smarter, better choices and fuel our bodies and fuel our families. But it's challenging. I mean, Earth Fare went out of business near my house. But again, it's because people would just walk in there and see a higher price point and not understand the why. So what are some of the things that you guys do to educate the community?
Well, I go back to giving credit to my parents.
Yeah.
It took my mom of educating every single person that walked into her door every single day for about 9 years. When she was in her small little original mustard seed, it was in Akron down in the valley. It's where Pizza Bogo is. Now it's a new pizza shop, but it was a small 2,000 square foot store that literally a to-go pizza shop took over eventually. And back in 1981, no one even knew what a health food store was in Akron. And so when they would walk in, she would have to like literally hold their hand and walk them through the store and show them, this is what you're used to, this is what we offer, and here's why. So it was literally from day one that education was at the center focus of the business, and it hasn't stopped, not a single day since then. When I was growing up, Mustard Seed was already doing lectures. We were doing cooking classes. My parents did macrobiotic cooking classes out of their own home before we had a cooking school in our Montrose location. So their commitment to education was, again, 100% authentic, and it was from the beginnings. I grew up in that environment, so to me it was absolutely normal, you know. And
I think that goes to show with kids, sometimes I think people and parents, and you're a parent now yourself, I think that there is this fear and stigma that their kid's going to be different because they're not able to eat the trash that the other kids are eating, for lack of better words. But you didn't know any better. And did you ever feel weird about it? Or was it something that you ended up, it sounds like now, being able to be proud of and passionate about yourself?
Well, I'm lucky that my parents didn't just restrict ingredients, but they told me why.
Exactly.
And they said, listen, we know we cannot control your behavior when you go over to your friend's house, but if you're going to eat that stuff, pay attention to your body to see how it makes you feel. And so like when I would go over to my friend's house across the street, I'm the kid that used to pour sugar on top of Frosted Flakes because I had Oreos with soy milk back home. So
you were aware that it was different.
Oh, and so
that's
like
hilarious.
most kids respond, or humans respond to sugar.
Yeah.
And so being able to have that was like such a treat. And I would just, of course, go overboard.
Yeah.
And then I would get a sugar crash, feel like crap, and come back, Mom, Dad, you were right. And so just from a young age, you know, they allowed me the freedom to experiment on my own, but they said, hey, pay attention.
Yeah, I love that.
And so intuitive eating still to this day is one of the most powerful tools that you can do because your body will tell you what it does and does not like. You just have to be in tune enough to pay attention to those signals.
Yeah, and I think that's a great rule of thumb for all consumers, whether children or all of us. I mean, how is your body feeling when you're eating certain things, and notice those ingredients and the changes that you go through. It's a powerful thing because your body won't lie.
No. And that's why, like, over the years, like, my health choices at Mustard Seed have improved just steadily.
Yeah.
You know, being a little kid in a grocery store growing up, you know, I could eat, you know, all natural candy and ice cream all day long if I wanted to. And I did a lot of that.
Yeah, totally.
Not going to lie. But when I started discovering smoothies versus ice cream, and then fresh juices and nutrient dense superfoods and protein rich meals, I got more energy, and I loved that all natural energy feel. There is nothing better in this world than having abundant energy and feeling healthy. You notice it most when you don't have it.
Exactly.
And without your health, what do you have?
Health is wealth.
And so it's when you're sick, the only thing you ever want is to feel better. And so you know, the best defense is a good offense. And so I've always been on the get healthy and stay healthy, live a preventative lifestyle train. I've just gotten better at it over the years. And so that's why I'm just super passionate about just sharing what I do, which is not the gold standard. I'm sure there's people doing way better than me, but I like to give people slack, saying you don't have to be perfect out there, but just again, pay attention to the way you feel and try to improve over time.
Awareness.
If you're 1% better every single day,
Right.
you know,
It adds up.
it adds up to a whole lot,
Yeah.
especially your trajectory of life will start to do this.
Exactly. Yeah, I always say it's little shifts, big differences. And when I started to become aware of the products I was putting on and in my body, it was a very slow start. It was the staples that I was using on a consistent basis or consuming on a consistent basis. And it's like one little shift when this product's out, okay, I'm going to change to this one. And then the next thing you know is, you're at an 80-30 situation.
It's always one step at a time.
Yeah.
And most people don't even realize how far down the rabbit hole they've gotten over time. You look back on your former self and you're like, oh, wow, I've come so far. Every journey, just the only way you get there is one step at a time.
One step at a time. And the awareness, it's again, empowering to know that we can make these choices for ourselves, and the norms that maybe we've grown up with or that are the standard in our country are below average. These household brands that I grew up with personally aren't the healthiest options, but they were all I knew. So it's starting to realize, okay, wait, just because this is regulated in our country, this is offered by these producers because the greenwashing, the label says this or that, doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to yield those results in my body. And finding the power to educate yourself and start to see, okay, actually, maybe these systems aren't in place to protect me. Maybe there's an ulterior motive of making some money behind it. Maybe there are different choices that I can make for my money, my energy, my health that yield change.
Well, what the FDA does for food, because it's the Food and Drug Administration, it makes it so that the food doesn't kill you immediately. Beyond that, good luck.
Good luck.
And I'm going to be a little bit darker than what you said, is that people's normal in America is not just subpar, it's horrific. When you know this type of things that I know about what it actually is doing to your body and the environment, you look at it and it is a tragedy. And most people think it's not a big deal whatsoever, and I'm just being picky over here and snooty about it and a food elitist and want to be the no fun police and blah, blah, blah. And that is absolutely not the case. I'm a real fun, lighthearted guy. But when I see all of these detrimental ingredients in food, especially being fed to children, it makes me mad.
I know. I agree. It makes me mad too. And I think oftentimes there's this narrative of like, well, I can't believe that like the government can do this to us. And I think it's important to note that nothing changes until you change. And I was really mad. I lost 2 parents to cancer. Like, that is a failure. I felt very failed by the systems that I put my trust into with the most important people in my life. And when something like that happens, when you get sick or someone around you gets sick, it's easy to get angry. And it took a while for me to get to the point where I said, okay, but how can I have a different outcome? And what are things that I can do to change and feel better and live longer and happier? And it did mean going against what that standard was. And that's when my eyes really started to open, and I'm like, holy shit, no wonder we're all sick.
Yeah, it's about educating yourself and personal decision making. One of the downsides of living in a free country is that you have the freedom to slowly kill yourself with your food choices and your lifestyle choices. And a lot of people are doing it unconsciously. Some people are doing it consciously. Like, I know people who are never going to stop smoking cigarettes because they, for whatever reason, it's a part of them. They like it. They know it's probably going to give them lung cancer and kill them over time, but they're just not going to stop. It's the people who are unaware all of the food choices that they're making, of how bad they are. Those are the people who I really want to get to.
Yeah.
Because if you realize you're about to fall off a cliff, most people would want to stop.
Exactly. When the first workshop that I ever did at Green Farm Juicery last year, that was exactly what I said. It's not about telling you what to do. It's giving you awareness. If you want to leave today and go to McDonald's on your way home, like, that is your free choice. But just know what's inside that food that you're putting in your body and how it's affecting you, and that you have an option, because having an option is where the power comes in. But it is cool to see, talk a lot about entrepreneurship. I personally am a very passionate entrepreneur myself. And so to see the way that your family business has continued to thrive because you guys are so in it with heart and love, I think is why you're able to succeed. And yeah, it's cool to see that your family is still heavily involved in the business, and that 44 years later, you're still doing what you can to take it to the next level.
Well, thank you for that. And that's why my brother and I basically decided to dedicate our lives and careers to mustard seed.
Yeah.
Our
What is your background?
Well, I got a degree in environmental geography and a minor in plant biology from
Cool.
Ohio University. So I got a Bachelor of Science degree.
I didn't realize you were a bobcat too.
Yeah.
That's so cool. We love that.
And I was able to learn about biology and plant biology and human biology. It's not that different.
Mm-hmm.
And learning about environmentalism and environmental sustainability really was an unintentional boost to my career in the natural food industry.
Yeah.
Because the natural food industry does touch on biology
Mm-hmm.
and environmental sustainability and
Mm-hmm.
environmentalism. You have to grow food, might as well grow it in a holistic, healthy way that is environmentally sustainable. And learning from people way smarter than me about how food and healthy lifestyle impacts biology, having that background has made it so that I can sort of be the translator chip from the really smart people and explain it in a no-nonsense way to the average person.
Absolutely.
That is just willing to pay attention and wants to do better for themselves. Because I really feel like, and I actually don't like the term biohacking, but I think a lot of people who are like advanced students of this stuff, the average person looks at them like, I'm not doing all that stuff.
Right.
Like
Right.
whatever. I'm just gonna like you can have it all. I'm gonna stay over here in my lane.
Yeah.
And I look at every single human on planet Earth going, there is no reason to not live a healthy preventative lifestyle. And it's so easy to do if you optimize your sleep, you optimize your diet, you're able to take really smart supplements to help boost that because our food system, even when it's natural and organic, still is not what it was 100 years ago because of the soil health that we have. It's not that hard to do to focus on the fundamentals of health to live a preventative lifestyle.
Yeah. And getting back to the basics, I think oftentimes the media trends, we get so far to the complexity of it all. I always am like dogging biohacking because I do think it's so unrelatable and unattainable. To me, biohacking is exactly what you just said, which is adequate sleep, nourishing foods, these basics that actually increase your lifespan. You know, you don't necessarily need to be in a hyperbaric chamber every day to live longer. That'd be badass for sure, but you could also do these things to shift your daily routines and lifestyles
Who has $60,000 to buy one and use it all the time?
And it's so unrelatable. And people think like, oh my God, if I don't have a red light, I'm never going to improve my skin health. And I just want to empower people to know that there are basics that are such powerful changes that
you know
can
the
do on
best
a
red
day-to-day
light
basis.
therapy on planet Earth?
Sun.
The sun.
Totally. Your circadian rhythm is so important. And just getting that sun in the morning, it changes my life.
Absolutely. And again, I'm a broken record about vitamin D, specifically in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah.
Because it's not about having cloudy, overcast days during the winter. It's about how far north Ohio is away from the equator. And so anywhere north of Atlanta, Georgia experiences a vitamin D winter. So in Ohio, we can only get vitamin D from the sun 4 months during the year. That's May to September. And 8 months, it is not possible because when the Earth tilts on its axis away from the sun, we only get the UVA spectrum of sunlight during vitamin D winter. Vitamin D comes from a UVB spectrum, so you need full spectrum sunlight in order to get vitamin D. During those 4 months, I love to get sun, specifically between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. 40% of your skin showing, no sunscreen on, not through glass.
Really?
About 15 minutes can get you 15,000 units of vitamin D. There's an oil that comes up on the surface of your skin. Don't wash that off. Your skin will eat that. And that's why cats and dogs will sunbathe. And after they sunbathe, they will lick their fur. That's how cats and dogs eat vitamin D off of their fur. So during vitamin D time, get it while the getting's good. Don't get burnt. That is bad for you, but you want to get.
And so like if you're getting enough, is your body storing it up and kind of like helping you for the winter? Like you need to supplement.
Well, let's suppose you're at optimal by September. The half-life of vitamin D is 18 days. So by February, even if you're optimal, you're already deficient.
Yeah.
That's why just taking a vitamin D supplement is like the number one recommendation I have for everybody living in Ohio. I call it a prerequisite for being healthy in Ohio.
Yeah.
And it's the best news is that it's cheap. $20, you can get enough vitamin D to last you those 8 months that you can't get it from the sun.
Yeah, totally. That's so true. It is being aware of that in Cleveland because it's a challenge.
And it's
After moving back from California, I'm like, it's a challenge as hell here.
yeah, well, the good news is that it's a tool in the toolbox that works.
Yeah.
Like I stopped getting seasonal mood disorder and depression during wintertime. All I had to do was solve a vitamin D deficiency.
Absolutely.
Yes, light helps. And if you are not getting sunlight from overcast, it does impact your mood, but exercise can really boost that.
Absolutely.
And if you solve your vitamin D deficiency, not only do you have a lot more energy, it's one of the most powerful antidepressants known to man. It is a prerequisite for calcium absorption. It's statistically more impactful than a flu shot because it wards off infections. It is, and it's even misleading to call it a vitamin because it's a pro-hormone that your liver converts to a hormone. And so imagine like guys with low testosterone, the difference of what it takes.
100%.
So if you are vitamin D deficient, your immune system is not working right. Your brain is not working right. So it's one of the, from a cost benefit analysis, it's like my number one by miles.
Do you have a brand that you love?
It's one of the nutrients I'm not brand loyal to. As long as it's vitamin D3,
that's the key.
The liver converts it into cholecalciferol, which is what you get from the sun. So you're able to just get vitamin D3 and the body does the conversion, and it's the same thing you get from the sun. It's no big deal. The caveat is I do take it with vitamin K2, and I think magnesium is another no-brainer that everyone should take. Those two are co-nutrients that are very important with vitamin D absorption.
That's really helpful. Thanks so much. We're going to talk a little bit more about supplements soon, but I wanted to do a couple more things about mustard seed specifically that I think is cool and sets you guys apart. I love that the gold standards that you guys look at are more ingredient focused and local. It seems like you guys do a really good job of helping support local brands, and as long as they're meeting your standard, help bring them in, allow them to educate your community. I've seen so many demos when I go in from different brands. You guys are kind of giving a space and a platform to other passionate entrepreneurs who have a quality product that's different than the norm to have a market.
It's strength in numbers. It's a rising tide raises all ships, and collaboration is the new competition. And you really want to band together because we're not competing against each other. We're competing against the crazy products that are harmful for you. So if somebody wants to dedicate their life to creating an awesome local product, that is absolutely something that we want to sell and we want to be able to offer our customers. So besides having unique products that you cannot find at big box stores or across state lines, you can find some gems. Some of the best quality products that we sell in our store are local.
I love that. And it's something that politics and, the systems in our country have gotten such a buzz. I think we've started to have more conversations in regards to food and regulations than we've ever had before, but we have such a long way to go, and there's no power in sitting back and waiting for those things to change. There's also loopholes and ways around ingredients by, supplementing one for one that isn't red 40, maybe it's red 3, for example. And until there is a market and consumers who have decided we're not investing in those products anymore, we can't just sit back and wait. So really finding the brands that are producing better and it's traveling from a closer area. We're not only supporting our bodies, but we're also supporting our community, and every dollar is truly like placing a vote.
Yeah, well, it's a 3x multiplier. For every dollar spent in a local economy, it's the equivalent of spending $3 in a multinational corporation because of how many times that dollar ricochets within the community. So if you really want to invest in your own community of where you live and you want to see it grow and thrive, it's a 3x multiplier.
Absolutely. I love to daydream of a future where mass commercialization is not the norm, is local places like this where we have the opportunity to still have convenience, but also have access to the better for you brands and a space for local creators, local entrepreneurs to thrive as well.
Well, I've seen it out in America.
Yeah.
I mean, Asheville, North Carolina is a shining example.
Totally.
There are 100 local restaurants plus in Asheville. So there's a local brand in Green Life, which Whole Foods bought.
Mm.
Before it was bought, my friend John Swan started that health food store. They had a rock star brand in every category that was Asheville local. And it's very possible. And so this is a call to action for anybody that ever thinks that they have a good idea. If you're passionate about something, you have an insight about how to make a product better, dive in with both feet.
Absolutely. That's really inspiring. You guys also have a couple core products that I am so passionate about. That's really how I've gotten to connect more and more with you over the years since I've been back. One thing that I'm obsessed with recently is your coffee. I didn't realize until seriously last week when I was in there that you have your own mustard seed branded coffee, and it's all organic and safe sourced, and it's so good. It pairs perfectly with the collagen.
Yeah, it does.
Just saying.
It's locally roasted 5 miles down the road in Brecksville, 24 hours before it's delivered to us.
So cool.
I actually just had it. This is actually breaking news. I just had it mycotoxin tested.
Amazing.
And 0 detectable mycotoxins.
So badass. Coffee is one of the highest sprayed crops from a pesticide standpoint.
That's what organic deals with, but that's
totally.
the mold after is a big issue.
Is a big issue as well. I want to say like 90% of coffees are testing pretty high in mold.
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but it's high.
Yeah, high.
It's all about the processing and storage of that stuff, because the oils in that coffee bean is a perfect breeding ground for mold.
Really?
So it's an emerging factor in the dialogue about the health of coffee. So organic isn't just good enough these days. Yeah. So I'll be sharing all that information. Anybody can reach out to me.
I got permission. I get a lot of questions about coffee, but again, I'm such a proponent of shopping local and supporting our community here. So to know that you guys have, and you're doing the testing behind it, it's so badass. So yeah, definitely check out Mustard Seeds Coffee. You guys have quite a few unique products, one of which that I fell in love with and made my whole personality was the collagen. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that because I had just kind of gotten into supplementing, and to your point, especially when I moved back to Cleveland, because I was noticing more energy that it was taking to feel better on a consistent basis, not only to find access to the more nourishing foods. I mean, we're not in California. It was a little closer access to seasonal fruits and vegetables and things like that. So here, oftentimes we may not even realize the lifestyle and the difference here just based on our location in general, that we are missing things from our standard diet. And it's quick that your body will start to react to that. And so I kind of got back here. I'm like, I'm not going to get sick. I think there's a reason why Cleveland Clinic is strategically placed here. I mean, we have these huge hospital systems. We have such limited access to the things that our bodies need. And the standard lifestyle, as we've talked about, doesn't necessarily yield health. And supplementing is a way to really boost what your body is missing when you don't have access to some of those other things, whether it's vitamin D, whether it's collagen that your body's naturally depleting over time. And there are a couple supplements that I started to work into my day-to-day routine that I felt were important from a research standpoint that I was missing. Collagen being one. I, however, wasn't able to find a collagen that I felt met my standards because I had just transitioned back from being a vegetarian completely to this day, I will not eat commercially sourced meat. So I'm really against, from a cruelty standpoint, from a quality standpoint, from a health standpoint, mass market meat and farming.
Well, good for you. That's why mustard seed does not sell any of that stuff.
Exactly. It's just something that I won't settle for. And it's made it more challenging to then choose products, supplements, things that are animal product derived, because not many meet those standards. So what initially attracted me to the collagen, the Miglo formula that you came out with, was the fact that you were using grass-fed beef and pasture-raised chicken and wild-caught fish. Explain a little bit about why that was important to you guys to have in the formula.
It's very easy to understand. It's a natural extension from the high-quality meats and seafoods that we sell to offer a collagen that is in that same line. The healthiest beef is grass-fed, grass-finished. The omega-3 fatty acid ratio is so much better compared to grain-fed beef. Pasture-raised chickens is how chickens should live out in the pasture. Oftentimes on eggs, you'll see it says 100% vegetarian feed, which is good because that means that the chickens are not eating animal byproduct. but chickens are not vegetarians. They should be eating bugs out in the pasture, and that's protein and nutrient density. And you can tell when the yolk is dark orange and hard to break with a fork when you whisk it versus the really light pale yellow yolk of factory farm eggs where the shell is super thin, the eggs are super small.
Yep.
And so it makes a big difference.
Huge difference.
Same thing with wild caught fish versus farm raised fish. You can tell in the salmon night and day how much more astaxanthin, that's the pink pigment that's in salmon, snapper, shrimp. It's the most anti-inflammatory compound on planet Earth. We sell it in supplement form, and I take it every day because it's that good for you. But you can see in wild-caught salmon, it is deep red, not pink, to do that. So if you're going to make an animal source product, you want the good stuff, especially if you're going to be from a mustard seed perspective. You don't want the bad stuff. So not only do you want the healthy, quality, good stuff, but you also want to avoid all of the toxins and contaminants that's in basically cheap collagen. I would never touch.
Never.
It is byproduct of the factory farming industry. It is disgusting what goes into that. In order to make collagen, you need to get all of the animal products and get the bones and all of the other stuff, and you have to make it into bone broth and cook it into a soup. Toxins can be stored in your muscle, your fat, and in your bone. So if you get bad quality animals and boil that down, it concentrates all of those toxins to do that. So, of course, how you avoid that is swimming upstream and getting the natural nutrient dense stuff that is devoid of that factory farm pollutants.
So true and so powerful. And thank you for explaining it, because I do think it's so important to understand, because we see the word collagen when we're trying to choose a supplement and we just assume because it's a supplement.
It's on the yes list.
Yeah. We just assume, like, I don't think we put those two together, that it is a byproduct of the factory farmed low quality stuff. And then, now with testing and whatnot, I mean, there are competitive brands that have, lawsuits against them for some of the toxins and the byproducts that are inside of these materials that are causing harm. And supplements in general, which I've talked about before and why I'm so passionate about sharing, are such an unregulated industry in our country.
So supplements are regulated as a food, not a drug. And from a natural food industry perspective, we actually want it that way. We fought hard to keep it that way, not because we don't like healthy food and protections, but it means that back in the day, I think it was 1994, they tried to have a pharmaceutical takeover of natural supplements. They wanted to make it so you could only get vitamin C from a doctor to get prescribed. We're like, whoa. This is a natural supplement. Where do you draw the line? There's vitamin C inside of oranges.
Right.
Are you going to make it so that you have to get a prescription to buy an orange?
Totally.
What the heck?
Yeah.
So I can't take vitamin C from that orange peel and put it into a supplement cap and take it. So we definitely want the freedom to be able to take supplements as a food, not a drug. So that's the benefit and the freedoms of being able to do that. The downside is that it is, in order to make a supplement, again, having created MyGlow, we had to get it. You have to register with the FDA. You have to apply for an application. You have to say, they have to approve of what the label is. They have to approve of what the ingredients are in there. But they're not spot checking what's in it. They're not testing that stuff. It's up to the supplement companies themselves in order to source properly and then get it third party tested, which MyGlow is third party tested. And so it's trust but verify. So if you are a responsible supplement manufacturer, you're going to choose well and you're going to verify that it is what it is. That costs more money. That takes a lot more time, energy, effort. And a lot of people are in it for just the money and the get rich quick scheme. If they can slap what people buy on the label and then run and gun, well, we didn't know that it was contaminated. Sorry.
Exactly. And most oftentimes no one would.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's so interesting about it. And I knew that you guys were so stringent like I am on the quality. So knowing that you were putting this type of time and energy into sourcing those quality sources, again, like I said, I was not going to touch an animal-based material, food, drug, whatever it is, if it wasn't of high quality, because I wouldn't eat a steak that wasn't of that quality. I wouldn't buy eggs that weren't pasture raised. So, why would I not on the supplement side of things, especially if I'm going to take it on such a consistent basis? Yeah.
Well, and it's a lot harder to get the sourcing right of a multi-collagen because the large majority of the collagens that are out there are only type 1 and 3, which is what you get from beef. But this is also type 2 collagen, which is for cartilage, type 5 collagen, type 10 collagen. And so you need to get eggshells You need to get chicken, and you need to get wild-caught fish in addition to it. So there are 4 different animal sources that make up those 5 different collagen forms inside of the product. And so you have to make sure every single source of that animal product meets those standards.
Totally. And that's where I think it's set apart from so many competitors, is because it does have all those types in one scoop, which is so badass. The value that you're getting for your body is far succeeding the anti-aging benefit. It's good for your hormones, it's good for your gut. And then we also have the added aminos inside of it as well, which are boosting collagen production naturally for the body. So it's almost like a double dose when you're putting a scoop in, including these aminos that are helping your body produce it naturally.
Yeah, so this is the research by Dr. Matthias Rath back in the 90s. Having been privy and seeing a presentation about that, it was natural for me to like, okay, well, we should add that research to natural collagen. And so it just, that additional lysine and proline just help the body make more collagen inside of the body. I actually think there's a misnomer for a lot of people that there is an apples to apples conversion of you take collagen, you make collagen.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it works.
Totally.
The hydrochloric acid in your stomach breaks these proteins down into individual amino acids. So, fun biology lesson. Amino acids are like letters, peptides are like words, proteins are like sentences, and a steak is the whole book. So in reverse, collagen proteins get broken down into collagen peptides, which is a buzzword, but those get broken down into individual amino acids. Once your body does that, the body is innately intelligent and will do whatever it wants with those individual amino acids. But there's been scientific studies that show if you take collagen on a regular basis, your body makes more collagen to do that. So that's where the lysine and proline, you want to add more of those specific amino acids to make more collagen in the body. And to me, another one of the very misunderstood aspects of the formula is the silica. Silica is sand. It's what we make glass out of. You can't eat sand. It's not bioavailable. But from bamboo stem, it is bioavailable. There is a supplement company that we've sold for a long time that I love called BioSil. It stands for bioavailable silica, and they claim to be one of the best plant-based collagen generators that's out there. And that is true. Their argument was silica stimulates the body's own enzymes to make collagen. So if you're eating enough amino acids from your diet and you take bioavailable silica, the body will just make more collagen for you. And so they're saying you don't need to take collagen as a supplement, just take our silica. Then the collagen people were like, well, we have the scientific studies say that if you take collagen on a regular basis, you'll make more collagen. I'm looking at both of these arguments going, why are you arguing? Get married.
Totally.
So that's why we put the silica inside of the formula. Yeah. And so like the collagen itself is like the fuel and the silica is the gas pedal. And so it's best of both worlds.
It's the best of both worlds. And then it's also like I say, because I don't take a whole lot of supplements, I take a couple strategic ones that I know will really give utmost benefit for the body. And the vitamin C, there's like 200 milligrams, I think, for 2 scoops.
Yeah, that helps with absorption.
Exactly. Helps with absorption of the collagen, but then also, of course, immunity. And then I've read a lot of different studies on the aminos, obviously lysine and proline, but then also glycine and the value that it has for the brain and body and regulation from anything from cognitive performance to adequate sleep.
Absolutely.
So I actually do a scoop of the collagen in my tea before bed.
Yeah, because collagen itself is glycine rich.
Yes.
And so a lot of people are looking for glycine on the label, not being fully aware that there's a bunch of glycine inside of the collagen itself.
Absolutely.
And in addition to that glycine that's in the collagen, there's been recent studies that show that if you do a protein shake before bed, there's actually benefit because your body heals, grows, and repairs when you sleep. And so if you have free-floating proteins inside of your body, the body will use it to do a whole bunch of good things for you. So it is a multiplier type of supplement.
It is. It's like multifunctional and gives you so many benefits. So it's like before bed, then also in the morning, as women, hormones, having coffee in general is, caffeine is stimulating. And I find that when I have the protein from the collagen inside the coffee, I don't get shaky. I don't get like those side effects that come with not having that balance between. So it's a powerful thing. It's a really badass supplement. And I'm so honored that you guys have been, so open to me sharing it with my cheeky community because it's like, the most cheeky approved supplement. And moving forwards, we're going to be making it even cheekier and available at Mustard Seed and for my community and elsewhere.
Well, I'm very impressed that you were able to recognize that and you jumped on board so early and that you're passionate about promoting it. It is indeed a labor of love. And we tried to make every little decision to the best quality that was possible. So kudos for recognizing it.
No, and thank you. And my market appreciates it. The reviews are so cool. You can go to my website and look at them, guys, if you're still on the fence. But I just was like, I know that I love this product and I know the standards that you guys put behind it. And I know that other people are going to see the value. And every time I get a message and someone says like, oh my gosh, like no other collagens have ever worked. This one's incredible. It's just a testament to the badass product that you've been able to create. And now I'm happy to bring to the marketplace. As you said, rising tides, and it's cool to be a part of.
Well, I love it because it's a foundational building block of who we are as a human. Collagen is the most abundant protein in our body. A pound for pound, it's stronger than steel. And it's basically the goo that sticks us all together. And a lot of people want to debate collagen versus like whey protein or other muscle building stuff. And I can drink protein shakes too and love them fine. But most people eat enough actual protein in their diet. Most people do not eat collagen-rich foods in their diet. So from a supplement perspective, I think it's much smarter to supplement with a collagen if you're going to do anything. If you're going to do both, great. Knock yourself out. But if you're going to do one or the other, I think it's way smarter to supplement with a collagen because you're going to get enough protein from your diet in order to build muscle. And once you turn 30, you're going to lose a percentage of that collagen every single year. And the difference is like baby skin versus grandmother or grandfather skin. That the extreme examples of collagen rich in the body versus collagen depleted to do that. And so I really love just, especially if as soon as you hit 30, it's a real good idea to get on that train to make sure that you maintain a collagen-rich diet and specifically in supplement form, because it's not just you want to live longer, you want your health span to match your lifespan. How you can do that is not degrade in your body to do that. You want to keep the body functioning the way that it was designed to do so. And it cannot do that if it does not have the building blocks. And collagen is one of the fundamental building blocks that make us up. And I love herbs and I love rhodiola and ashwagandha and all that stuff, but herbs are drugs. They influence the body. Collagen is a building block. So you cannot out ashwagandha a collagen deficiency.
Totally.
It is the only thing that works in order to help make up our building blocks.
And it's so true that as we age, it's so important and so important for everyone to be taking. I recently had a customer say that every time she purchases now, she wants to buy 2 because she gives one to her dad and one. And I'm like, that's so badass. Like if you're going to get your parents or your grandparents on any supplement, collagen is such a powerful way to really help them improve their health and longevity. And how cool is it to be able to offer that to our generations older than us?
For sure.
So we're actually going to be going through a little rebrand, keeping the formula, but just making it a little cheekier. So stay tuned for that, guys. But thanks for giving the background on it. Like I said, I was so impressed and inspired by the formula. So I wanted to give everyone a little bit more context from the mouth of who created it.
For sure.
And like I said, happy to be a part of it. So more to come. Wanted to ask, is there anything going on at Mustard Seed that we should maybe check out in the near future? I know you guys do really cool stuff like music some nights and like you always got a vibe going on there. Is there anything that we should check out outside of getting down to the store for those who haven't?
Sure. Yeah, we have one full-service restaurant left, and that is in our Highland Square location.
Yes, it's awesome brunch.
Yeah, so we do brunch every Saturday and Sunday. It's off a menu. It's amazing. The regular lunch and dinner menu is awesome, too. I think it was in February and just got revamped, so it's very popular. But we do free concerts every Friday and Saturday from 8:30 to 10:30. So
Cool.
it's great because you don't need to buy a ticket. It's just show up and have fun.
Just a vibe.
Yeah.
So every day you guys do lunch and dinner at Highland Square?
Yeah, the cafe is open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. during the week
Very
and
cool.
10 on the weekends.
Nice. And then brunch on Saturday and Sunday.
Yep, and that starts at 9, goes to 3.
So badass. Yeah, everyone check it out. It's so awesome. Really great high quality food. Super cool. I'll have to come down one night on a jam night.
For sure.
Love live music. Does your dad ever play in it?
Yeah.
I love
Yeah, his
that.
band is F5.
Oh,
We still
cute.
let his band play like once a quarter. But no, they're
So amazing.
not just let him play. They're one of the more popular bands.
Like the crowd loves them.
Love.
I've never met your dad, actually.
He's a hoot.
I feel like
You'd
I
love to
would.
meet
From
him.
what I hear about him, he sounds cool as hell. I've met your mom. She's super cool. She lives now on a farm, right?
Yeah, it's called Blueberry Hill Family Farms.
That's so
It's
cool.
Ohio's largest certified organic blueberry farm.
So badass.
So-
See, like that is living it through and through.
Yeah, people want to throw around the term OGs, but her and my dad definitely are some of the authentic hippies that started the health food movement.
Hell yeah. And then you guys are carrying it on, which is so cool. And hopefully we can inspire you guys to know that we do have options like these in Ohio, which is just incredible. And the more that we can support them, shop at them, and again, like we said, vote with our dollars, it just increases the health and longevity of all of us as a community. So it's a powerful thing. Thank you, Abe, for coming on today.
Well, it's been an honor and a pleasure.
Of
Thank you so
course.
much for having me.
For sure. And stay tuned, guys, for more updates on the collagen and collabs with Mustard Seed and Cheeky.
Yeah,
So,
sounds good.
cool.
And if anybody ever needs to find me, ask any health questions, you can go to mustardseedmarket.com. I personally answer any questions that people have about health or supplements or food or anything like that. I give people store tours. I
Amazing.
love to help people decipher a health food store if it's new to you
Yeah.
and it's scary and you don't know how to shop it. I literally will walk you around the whole store just like my mom did since day one.
No, you're a wealth of knowledge. We'll have to have you back on again and talk about some other topics because we've had conversations in the past on things that I think would just be like wildly interesting. Everything from all of Mustard Seed has reverse osmosis water and the reasons why. And I just, your brain is a good one, Abe. So thanks for making that available for everyone.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.